Okay, Jeremy here, Jeeps Unlimited, partsbreakers.com, 303-666-9020. Found them? That one work? Yeah? Cool. Thanks, Jerry. I looked all over for it and gave up. Then came and did a video. We're looking for something out here in the yard's a little bit, trying to move everything around, get our building or whatever we're going to come up with for our building. We're going to put some Connex boxes and maybe something up. So anyway, yard's a little bit into shambles for some of that small parts. So anyway, back where I'm saying. So CJ7 tub, listing that. Been sick lately, like pneumonia sick, which is kind of crappy, but finally getting better, starting to feel better. And funny, coming out of a sickness like that, you're always just like, wow, life feels really good when you're not feeling so crappy. So, but without further ado, let's go through these. So we got several CJ tubs we're listing today and one YJ tub. And we lucked out. This one came out of the yard. One we pulled. This will be an A. We're pretty sure. It's one of the reasons I do videos. I want you to see it as if you're standing here next to me. And it also gives me the opportunity to go through them kind of with a fine-tooth comb as I scan through them. So I've seen this one a while. We've had this one in pre-dismantle state, just meaning it was attached still with everything around it. So we couldn't get an exact overview. It's got a couple areas that you see that are like, looks like, oh man, there's like rust in these areas, but mostly it's just paint came off, it oxidized. Some of them might be turning into a little bit of surface, but there's no rot in it yet, at least on the sides here. This is just more or less get a wire wheel. This is all nice and solid. All this is too. So it was just poorly maintained. Somebody was wheeling in it. I'm sure it had some rocks come up and whatnot, but this is all nice and clean, especially for a CJ. They had sliders on the bottom, which we actually still have. They're really nice sliders. So if you're going to put sliders, there's like a slider step. We could work something out on those guys. Otherwise, they are available for sale for anybody else. And you could put those on a CJ or a YJ. Firewall is nice and clean. The cowl's beautiful. The top area, this always likes to rot out on them. Super clean. The only area that's got a little bit on them, and even our A's will still have this oftentimes, is where the feet of the roll bar are. The main thing I look at is if it goes into, if it's just the floor where the feet are, it's almost a given. Almost all these CJ tubs are going to start seeing a little bit. This one's a little bit better as far as that goes. I'm not going to show that one right now, but I will here shortly. So definitely keep in tune with these. You'll get a lot of times where the seat brackets start cracking, where people get, they just get loose and don't get maintained. This is a California tub, as well as most of these actually that we're putting up today are all California. This one we actually got, and those other two we were part of that last load that we couldn't get on that last one. I had to go pick up. So again, it's just paint that's just come off, and it looks worse than it is. This is to be a great candidate to get that one blasted, epoxy primered. And there are, like those areas there, you might blow through a little bit here. You can see a couple pinholes. But it's all flat metal work, right? That's what you want to see. After 21 years, almost 22 years, so here in November, 22 years of doing this, you see a tub like this on a CJ7, and we've found one. I mean, it's like a good, that's like, oh, great, we got one. We got another one. So they're hard to get. And after doing it for so long, getting a tub this clean, exceptionally rare find out there. So when we find them, we try to grab them as quickly as we can. A lot of our Jeeps that are coming in, CJ-wise, especially CJ-wise, that are coming in good, we're starting to fix now. They're starting to be so valuable that they're not worth parting. And if this one hadn't had the engine issue with it being locked up, we would have been right there with this one fixing it. Throwing a paint job on it and calling it good. So I'm going to flip it up here on the side to show you the bottom, because the bottom ultimately is one of the big selling points in a lot of our tubs. Obviously the floors are too. You got driver's side floor here, passenger side. Very little light surface on both, but again, no rot up through here. This is all nice and solid. Same with that. The only area is right there. That was the other thing I was going to show you. This is the main. So if this is blown out and this is blown out back here, which does happen a lot, then they usually go down to like a B grade. But being that it's just the feet and it's not the backing, this is where your roll bar mounts, and it's still, the holes are still good on this one. I mean, technically, yeah, you could throw it in. You'd be the wiser, nobody else would. But I mean, you're here, this is a big project, why would you go through all that and then skip out there? So that's just personal preference. This is a late tub. So you're looking at, this is gonna be your 81 to 86. It will work on a 76 to 80. but there were some changes, and it's primarily in this roll bar area that they changed. The early ones had the mounts, and we have videos on this online. The early one, this is an early roll bar here. This is not an early tub. We just had to transport this roll bar, so I threw it in the back of it. This is still a late CJ7 tub as well. But this is the early style, only mounts to the top of the rear wheel well, so it doesn't tie into the floor. I'm doing pretty good with my voice right now, but I can already feel it drying out. So I know these videos aren't gonna, I gotta do 5 of them today. And this 20% humidity, if we're even lucky here in Colorado to have, is makes it a little hard. So I'm gonna pause it here just for a second. And I'll get right back with you. I'm gonna flip it up on its side and really give you a bird's eye view of the bottom, take some photos of the bottom, and then we'll get it posted and move on to the next one. Okay, so torque pockets, that's like kind of a newer name for them. These are really capture nuts as well. A lot of people call the old ones, but the torque, we call them torque pockets because eventually what the TJs, even the YJs got. So a couple of areas, there's gonna be 10 total bolts that attach your tub to your frame or vice versa. And what we like to see is all of them are in great shape. And you know, if there's anything wrong, maybe a broken bolt in one of them. And then sometimes you'll get some cracking on them, and sometimes they're just completely gone. These ones are great. None of these are blown out. None of these are broken off. So there's no issues there whatsoever. And all 10 of them. And I always count these off. Helps me make sure that I'm not missing anything. And again, shows you. So we'll start with the front 2. These are the ones that you see oftentimes cracked. They get loose, just like the seat bracket, and bounce around. You can totally reach your hand in the back of this one. See, it's not a lot of metal here, and it does take a beating. So usually these ones are cracked when you see them cracked, or they just broken off. And again, not a hard fix, but the good news is this tub is perfect here. Nice clean threads, just like you see there. Let's see if I focus the build better. There we go. Let me wipe my lens here. Maybe that's what's happening. Okay, so we got 1. This is your middle one, 2, perfect. And then 3. And again, a couple things here. With a little bit of rot you've seen on the top of these. The important thing is in the upper layer, so it's in your floor sheet. It's not into the channel at all. And that's good, because when you go to replace this, as long as you don't take a hacksaw and accidentally cut this out, which I see people do, so don't do that. There's a couple spot welds in here. You peel that back, clean that up, and you can use this as your supportive brace here and just weld right on top of it. The body shop easily can do that. We can do this stuff too. So there's not a huge discount for this. There is a little bit off, obviously. I mean, we'd love to see nothing there, but we do knock a little bit down, not a lot. But if it's something that you want us to fix, we can work on that. We're really backed up, so it would add some time to the whole thing, but and then there would be a cost because we would be selling it as essentially an A+ tub. But really, that's one of the reasons it's knocked down a couple $100 there. So. Okay, so we got those 3, and then we got 4. Now this one always throws people because this is the mount, but there's a leg that comes out to this guy. So there's only 10 that go to the tub. So there's your 4 and then 5. And then you have a little bracket that kind of like a supporting bracket here that comes out. And that one's good too, but that doesn't go directly to the frame. It goes to an arm, okay? The bracing in the corners are good. Even the corners are in good shape on this. Again, there's a little bit of, but it's not, I mean, you can see on the inside, they should have done a little bit better job cleaning it, but the whole torque box in the back, this is another area that likes to rust out on these things, and this one's in good shape. Not only is it straight and clean like it should be, but it's not all rusty, not cracked, nothing else. So there's a 5, 6, and we got 7, and then here's your supporting one. Okay, 8, and again, take a look at, okay, nothing into the actual channel, just the top here. 9 and 10. Again, no cracks. This is beautiful shape. So that's a nice clean tub, an A grade. Get it, you don't have to blast it, but it's always nice to do that. Start with a nice clean tub, and then we usually do an epoxy primer or something on it. If you're going to be working with it right away, it's not necessary, but they do flash rust pretty quick. Flash rust is just oxidation. It just requires a little bit more prep work if you go to paint it afterwards. So kind of depends on what you're doing. We used to in Erie, when we were doing our own sandblasting, we would just sandblast them and sit them out back. And we didn't really care because it's so dry here. But they'd start getting a little bit of a browning on them, like almost like a patina. You don't want to do that in an area that's got humidity in there, especially near a coastal line, because it will actually rot itself out. But nice solid floor in the back, not all wavy, so it hasn't been overloaded. That's a big thing we look for. And then a good, nice, clean tunnel on it. It's just beautiful tunnel. You know, sometimes you'll get drive shaft marks. There's a couple extra little holes in there. Those aren't too big a deal. I think that's it. So going down the sides, we've seen it from the outside. A little harder to see this, but we can get it up on this and see some of the reflections. Here's some of your imperfections. Some of these are factory imperfections. I'm trying to get trying to get it to focus a little bit more for you. So some of the little spot rips, you kind of can see them through here a little bit maybe. These are actually factory, and that's something you're going to have. And some of the guys, you can see one there. That's actually all factory mounts or factory spot welds. A lot of the collector guys that buy these tubs they want that. They don't want them having been leveled. You can see maybe a couple through here. Those are all factory. And then in addition to that, you see the normal wear and tear on the tub. So there's a little, looks like a dinger there. That's not a factory one. That looks like something, maybe a door ding. And then there's some factory ones there. There's some factory ones there. Maybe a little bit hard to see that one, but maybe a little ding there. So that's gonna happen on almost all of them. A little bit of dings here and there. Hard to see when you're looking straight on it. If you get to a weird angle, like you're not going to be looking at your Jeep like this very often, but you might catch. And again, I'm doing these videos so you see this kind of stuff. So that's to be expected. And then of course the factory ones, you're not going to get around those ones, but you can do what the dealerships used to do back in the day. They literally would get these things off a semi and take them directly over to body shop and have them leveled out, because they didn't like that. They thought it looked ridiculous. They were buying, they were getting these Jeeps to sell. People wouldn't like it, and in the day I think that was correct, but now it's like some of these CJs that we've restored, we go after the ones that have still all those original indentations in them, because they actually are the ones that bring more money, because they haven't had all that filler put in them. So all right, that's it. I'm gonna take a couple photos and then we'll move on to this next one that's sitting right here. I'll move this one out of the way. We put them all in our upper lot so they're nice and safe. Nobody's gonna back into them. That's another thing. It's like, well, what does it look, if this tub won't last more than a couple weeks, but if it did, or maybe you're not going to take possession of it for a few months, you don't need it for a while, which is fine. If you see this on YouTube, I'm like, man, I love this tub, but I don't need it for 6 months. We got 7.5 acres out here. So it's not uncommon for people to buy stuff and then say, hey, I'll let you know when I need it. And it's in a safe area that, down here, there's a lot of moving and shaking, but up there, nobody goes up there but me. And only me to get tubs brought up there, and only tubs brought down. We don't do any work up there, so they're protected and nice and safe. So, okay, 303-666-9020. Again, partsbreakers.com. I'm gonna get this one uploaded on YouTube, get this over to Megan, and let her send this out to a few people that called on them, and we'll start moving these things. We do have our own hotshot running every 2 weeks, so we'll have another load. He just picked up a couple days ago. Usually takes them all at the East Coast for us. And as we go on with the fall, they'll just start getting busier and busier. We'll start filling those loads quicker and quicker and send them more often. So, all right, thanks a lot.